Analytics, tracking. Do those words kind of make your shoulders tense up a little bit? You start picturing these endless spreadsheets and charts that just don't make any sense. Yeah, you're not alone. But here's the thing, it really doesn't have to be that way. So let's dive in and make analytics simple, powerful, and maybe even, dare I say it, kind of fun. This quote is over 100 years old, but seriously, doesn't it feel like it could have been said in a marketing meeting like yesterday? This feeling of just throwing money and time out there, hoping something sticks, it's a super common frustration, and that's the exact problem we're going to tackle right now. And let's be real, the tools we have today can almost make it worse, right? You log into some dashboard and you're just immediately bombarded with stuff like CTR, CPC, and like a dozen different graphs all screaming for your attention. It's so easy to just get totally lost in the numbers and never actually do anything with them. Okay, but what if I told you to just forget all that noise? Forget the dozens and dozens of metrics you could be tracking. What if you could get all the clarity you need, all the answers you're looking for, by focusing on just 5? Yep, 5. That's the magic number. Seriously, for most businesses out there, just these 5 key numbers are going to give you about 80% of the insights you need to make way smarter decisions. This isn't about collecting more data, it's about focusing on the right data. So, what are these 5 golden numbers? Let's build your new, super simple dashboard together right here, right now. We're going to go through it piece by piece, starting with number 1. First up, visitors. You might call it traffic. This is the absolute top of the funnel. Are people even showing up to your digital doorstep? Without visitors, literally nothing else matters. It's the first pulse check, the first sign of life that tells you if your efforts on, say, Google or Instagram are actually bringing anyone in. Okay, next up, we've got leads. See, a visitor is kind of like an anonymous face in a crowd. But a lead? That's someone who raises their hand and says, hey, I'm interested. They give you their email, they book a call, they take a step forward. This number is huge because it tells you if what you're saying is actually interesting enough to make someone listen. And number 3 is conversions. This is the moment of truth. This is when that interested lead pulls out their wallet and becomes a customer. Visitors and leads are fantastic, but conversions, that's what pays the bills. It's the ultimate report card for your entire process. Now, getting customers is one thing, but what did it cost you to get them? That's our 4th number, cost. And we're talking about everything, your ad spend, the tools you use, even the value of your own time. This number is all about context. I mean, getting a customer for $10 is amazing if you're selling a $1,000 product, but it's a total disaster if you're selling something for 5. And that brings us to the final and maybe most important number of all, return on investment, ROI. This is where you put it all together. You take the profit you made from those conversions and you compare it to what you spent. This single number answers that one critical question. Is my marketing a money-making machine, or is it a money pit? Okay, so you know the 5 numbers. Awesome. But now you're probably thinking, how in the world do I track all this without some crazy expensive, complicated software? Well, the good news is you can get started for free, probably with tools you already have. So you've got Google Analytics, or GA4. That's kind of the industry standard for tracking your website visitors. Then there's Looker Studio, another free tool from Google that lets you build a really clean dashboard with just your 5 key numbers. But honestly, you can literally start today with a basic spreadsheet. Sometimes the simplest tool is the best one to get you going. This really gets to the heart of the mindset shift we're talking about. The goal isn't to be drowning in data, checking your stats every 5 minutes. No way. The simple approach is all about looking at trends maybe once a week from one clean report and asking one simple question. Okay, what decision does this help me make? And that's really the whole point, isn't it? The entire reason we track anything is to make better, smarter, and faster decisions for our business. The numbers are just the tool. Let me show you a quick example of what I mean. Okay, check this out. It's a perfect example. Let's say this is your visitor data for the week. You can see clear as day that Instagram is crushing it, bringing in way more traffic than the other channels. So the decision is pretty simple, right? Double down on what's working. Maybe you post a bit more on Instagram this week, or maybe you put a tiny bit of ad money there. Boom, that's it. A clear, easy decision driven by simple data. So how can you start? Like right now, today. Here's your plan. First, just write down those 5 numbers we talked about. Then just pick one to start. Maybe it's your weekly visitors. Track just that one number in a simple spreadsheet. That's it. Don't try to boil the ocean. You can add more tools later. The most important step is to make just one small decision based on what you see. I really want you to let this sink in. You can have the most beautiful, impressive-looking dashboards in the entire world, but if they don't lead to action, they're just pretty pictures. They're just decoration. The goal is not to admire your numbers, it's to use them. So I'm going to leave you with this question. After everything we've just walked through, I want you to think about your business. If you tracked just one or two simple things, what's one small decision you can make this week that could help move the needle?